What's going on, guys? Joe's18 here. Welcome back to Storyline. Last video we did all the previous seasons and stuff, and then this season we're just gonna do season 5 because y'all already get it. Hopefully, if you haven't watched those videos, do. I know they're long and because I have bad time with words, but yeah. So, season 5 has been crazy to say the least. We finally, ever since chapter 2 season 2, we finally met up with Jon Jones again and heard about him. We figured out a lot, such as he lives underneath the Fortnite, at least the chapter 2 Fortnite island. We don't know about the chapter 1 yet, but we might learn. You never know. And so his job was to gather hunters and stop us from using the 0 point. We don't know if he succeeded or not because, well, the live event hasn't happened yet, and they're not even doing a live event this season necessarily. It's more gonna be it's less a live event. It's kind of like a, I don't even know how to say it. It's just not a live event. It's of an event, but it's going to be next season at the very start. I'll definitely be live streaming it. I'll go follow my Instagram because I'll probably post like 10 minutes beforehand when I'm going to start streaming it. So Instagram's not only in the might be in the channel bio, especially it'll be in the channel bio after I'm done with this thing, but it'll be in the bio hopefully too if I remember. Anyways, we see the 0 point started to get exposed, and not only that, but if you look here, the 0 point is very fragged, and it's purple too, just like Kevin the Cube. Now my suspicion is that next season, since these chapters are mirroring themselves, we're gonna get some sort of like Kevin the Cube type thing into the next season, possibly even Kevin the Cube exactly. And we've seen this theme a lot ever since chapter 3, I think, because the first 3 seasons of chapter 1 were just adding new things. For example, chapter 1 was just exploring, and then chapter 2 was adding the idea of the names to places or NPCs that you can fight. And then chapter 3 was just adding another thing, like, I can't totally remember, just better physics, I think. Taking away double pumping, thank you. And the water idea. And then Jon Jones was the other thing that they added that was brand new. And now we're back to confronting Jon Jones, like I said, but for the last time we saw him was chapter 2, season 2. So it was 2 seasons, which usually they wouldn't do that. And if you look here, very close, I'm just going to play the beginning trailer of the clip, the first part, and then I'm going to debunk it.
They did it! We're still here!
Yeah, but the 0 point is exposed. You have to go in.
Oh, come on. Last thing we need is another snapshot of me inside the loop.
No, the last thing we need is someone escaping the loop. You need to get in there and fix it.
Understood, ma'am. I'm on it.
And do not draw the attention of the 7. Jones, are you there?
Alright. I just need to stabilize the 0 point and reseal the bridge, but not let anyone escape. Easy, right? Okay. Locate the best hunters across all realities.
Signatures triangulated and defined. Execute.
This better work.
Now, as you saw there, let's just go over a couple things. First thing, he says, "We did it." And then, which probably means that he was the one that said, hey, Avengers, please help us, from last season. Because Galactus is gone now. Or so we think, at least. But then he says something like, then his boss, I suspect it's female Midas, the skin just came out and all that. And that would make the reason for Midas being another snapshot, Oro, Midas Rex, Shadow Midas being all snapshots. And then she says to go on saying, we need to stabilize it because it's broken. And John Jones says something along the lines of, last thing we need is another snapshot of me inside the loop. Which proves that he's been there before. Because there's plenty of snapshots there. We have, for example, just a couple. Bunker Jonesy, Castaway Jonesy, Dadbod Jonesy, as I like to call him. We even have stuff like Dark Jonesy and Scuba Jonesy for just no reasons, but they're there because they're replacements. And the reason why they're there is because he left and came back so many times that the loop has to fill it with something. But now the 0 point's exposed and Jonesy doesn't totally know how to get it fixed. But then later in the clip, it purposely says something along the lines of, his boss says, don't draw the attention of the Seven. Something we haven't heard of since Chapter 1, Season X. I mean, we've had speculations about it, but there's just wasn't anything there. So, in Chapter 2 now, we're finally hearing about the Seven. And we hear about it again. We hear about the Seven finally after, like, 3 months. This is the longest season, I think. And I can definitely feel it. But we hear about the Seven again in an audio log that I'll share later. But the Seven, he purposely drops the phone. Well, he doesn't purposely, but Epic purposely intends that he drops the phone so he doesn't hear that he should not be drawing the attention of the Seven. The Seven, if you don't know, were this group of people that were trying to stabilize the 0 point. In last chapter, I think I fully know what happens. So last season we had the Seven is the main people. We weren't even introduced to John Jones yet, but we see that the Seven were trying to take hold of the 0 point. And a couple things were trying to take hold of the 0 point. The Devourer was trying to go there, which was the giant monster from the Monster X Robot event. And all these things were just trying to take it. And I'm guessing there's still going to be more. But if you look again very closely, the 0 point, even from the ground, is fragged. And it's even pulsating a little, like, extra. And I don't know why. I think it's because John Jones is using it. And as you can see right now, in a couple of seconds, it's pulsing a little bit. But then you can also see the very end right here, it pulses big time. Like, just a giant pulse wave comes out right there. And that might be because of the Seven. That might not be. We don't know. I mean, it's probably because he keeps using the Rift Gun too many times. First he brought just basic Master Chief and Kratos. That probably would have been enough. They're pretty scary as themselves. But then he goes on to bring the Walking Dead. And also, let's see, he brings the Walking Dead, then he brings Terminator and Sarah O'Connor. And then that would have been enough even too. But then he goes on to bring Tron in Street Fighter, which that would have been plenty still. But then he continues for his final go. He brings 3 people. The Flash, Ripley, and Not like Ripley from the stupid sludge thing, but Ripley from the Xenomorph. Ripley and the Xenomorph from Aliens movies. And Ant-Man, but no one really cared about Ant-Man. He was just a tournament, or not even a tournament. No one even realized he showed up until he was in the Atom Shop. But these people just, that all of that would have been enough, but him bringing these over and over again, just, it caused the 0 point to go haywire because it was being used too much. And it reminds us of Kevin the Cube, Chapter 2, Season 6. I mean, Chapter 1, Season 6. Where he goes and he goes to the middle island and consumes... he goes into the lake after he goes to that, and then he goes into the lake, and the lake consumes it, so the lake gets all bouncy for a couple days. Then later in the season, he pops up from the island, and it's just, he is there, and he's still where if you shoot him, he'll bounce you back and deal damage. You don't even want to mess with him because he'll hurt, and he'll hurt big time. He'll crack all your shields and send you flying. But it's reminding us because later in the season he got weakened and he started dripping off dark matter. But it's just, why was he dripping off dark matter? Probably because he was weak, because he was using all his energy to keep afloat and keep the island afloat. And he brought that thing all the way across, like, the entire island, making his little shapes, and those shapes are even in the shape of a cube if you line them up all across the map. But why? So now if we're going to look at another clip of the final little thing, and I'll debunk that instantly after as well.
No one is escaping the loop. Not on my watch. I've been gathering the greatest hunters across all realities, and I started with the best. Cost a lot of credits to convince Mando, but this is the way. The plan? Pure chaos, and no one will sew it better than them. Menace, reality's greatest gladiator. The guy's never been defeated. Mancake, a flapjack forged on a griddle of rage. And Maeve, you know, just a shape-shifting barbarian warrior. As they explore the island, they'll have scores to settle and bounties to collect, all while we get ready for the next phase. And we're just getting started. So, what are you waiting for? The hunt is on.
So first thing we see in that is, of course, the skins. They're cool. We're just checking them out because they're there and they're pretty cool. But let's just go over a couple of the things that are really hidden because we don't really want to pay attention to them because we're focused on the battle pass. We see no one is escaping the loop is because that's his job. His job is to stabilize the 0 point, resew the bridge, and not let anyone escape, as we see in the first clip. But we don't totally think that happens because it's getting crazy. And we also hear him say the plan, pure chaos, as if he's trying to distract us from this. Well, he's trying to distract us from the 0 point so we don't go in, but we're having just chaos. They added bounties to the season, so you're always on your toes, because if you have a bounty on you, you don't want to lose that bounty because, well, you don't want to lose a fight in general, but also because you don't want anyone else to get credits, because if they do, then they can get more credits, that way they can defeat you, and if they can defeat you, then they're gonna be able to fight you again or fight others, and you want the credits. But it's just not always that simple. And then there's these fighting NPCs on the island that, here, I'll show you, and yeah. So first, at Hydra 16, I'm also going to give you like a quick tips on how to fight her. You see Ruckus, which is a really weird person to start fighting because they're not even a mythic boss. They don't drop that good of loot. Like, the best thing they drop is a rocket launcher. That's it. So first you want to grab a bit of loot, of course, but then as you go down to them and stuff like that, they have a gold heavy AR, which just sucks this season because they added recoil and makes it impossible. I use it as an SMG sometimes. I'd rather have a gray pistol. But then you grab some guns and stuff, and then you kill them. But the weird thing about them, at the beginning of the season, this didn't happen. But later in the season, we see them turn out kind of like Bunker Jonesy at the beginning, where also don't get too close to them because they're really good at close range. But we see him become a shadow of just, and you can talk to him and get some storyline. For example, you can get a bounty, a lever action shock on you. First I'm fighting you, and then I'm all glowy. It wasn't me. He probably not. I never seen anything like this before, though. And then he goes on to say, man, I hope this wears off soon because, you know, and it does. We know now, because Epic has leaked it, that these loops are every 22 seconds. I mean, 22, not seconds, but 22 minutes. That's the average time for a Fortnite match. Of course, it's going to go a bit longer if you decide to do, like, a heal off or something, but 22 minutes is the average time for a match. And then the second boss we can fight is... the other person we can fight is Mando. Now, don't watch me clutch and have him blow myself up because I got scared mid-match. But, yeah, and I don't totally know why we can fight him. I think the only reason we can fight him is because he's a mythic boss, and Epic's just kind of like trying and to find a way to like get his mythics instead of just like buying it for credits. But those are the two that you can fight, and it's weird that you can't fight. Well, you can fight every NPC. You can just shoot them and then they'll fight back. But it's weird that some are just instantly hostile and others aren't. Like, those are the only two that the second they see you, besides IO guards, I hate IO guards, but besides IO guards, those are the only two NPCs that the second you see them, or they see you, they start shooting. And just why those two specifically? But also, the past day or the past 2 days, we've gotten audio logs from Jon Jones, and here, I'll play him for you. He is not happy.
Reality log doesn't even matter. What's the point of recording these logs if you're not going to listen? We've lost control of the 0 point. Do you get what that means? You must not, because you're doing nothing. I've dedicated my life to the Order. I've given everything. And for what? To just sit back and watch reality end? That's not who we are. At least it's not who I am. Not anymore.
So as we see in that clip, Jon Jones is not happy because the Imagined Order isn't doing anything after the 0 point is getting destroyed. He's lost control of it. And I believe that the 0 point originally was the 7's control, which is why they were there. But now the other one is the one that brings back the attention of the 7 finally, after the entire season, basically.
This is Agent Jones requesting access to restricted file 8752. This is Agent Jones requesting access to restricted file 8752. Oh, really? No time to stabilize reality, but plenty of time to revoke my credentials. This is Agent Jones requesting access to all materials related to the Seven. Oh, great! Okay, if you're not gonna give me what I need, I'm just gonna have to take it.
As we can see, he is not happy because Io is taken away how he gets back out of the loop, which means he's going to be stuck there, which means we might get is the skin next season. But also, the weird thing is, some of the NPCs around the Zero Point are getting a bit scared because, well, we don't totally know what's gonna happen. So in a second I'll show, so like, for example, Menace is talking about the, how there's gonna be a big fight soon. He changed that dialogue. Before he was like, oh yeah, I'm cool because I never lose a battle well. And then, I can't remember what Deadeye says, but he's in that little shack right by, Menace. But then, in a second, I'll show you Mad Cake, but, because that's just like a big storyline drop. But I didn't want this video to just be the storyline because, you know, we know the next season's not going to be a live event because it's weird, but follow the Instagram of Dobros so you don't miss, like, when I'm going to stream. I'm going to say 10 minutes beforehand I start streaming that, hey, I'm going to stream in 10 minutes, and, then you can hop on. But I didn't want this to just be a thing, link in bio, by the way, for the Instagram. I didn't want it to just be a story video. I kind of wanted it to be a, tips and tricks, so just like the Ruckus thing. But as Mancake says right here, was that thing always so unstable? The answer is no, of course, but that's it for now. Besides the fact that another thing I noticed was the Zero Point's a bit weird. If you remember Chapter 2, Season 2, the first live event we had of the chapter, finally, the Zero Point's actually not only the same shape and size as the device, but it's also the same height up, which is just not good. And then we have these weird crystals that are probably from the Zero Point that allow us to go in and out of reality, because you can see that you just don't exist for a second. It's not that you necessarily dash forward, it's that you're just all of a sudden there. And like I said before, it has the weird pulses of small ones, and then it has the big old pulse, but it also has the rings around it that we didn't have at the beginning of the season. So it's just, yeah, the pulse. And that's me fighting Mando again. But tips and tricks for Mando: have good guns. Also, you can play canteen music if you go into that room. Mando's not actually in this one because it's Battle Labs, because I was trying to go through it, but a couple tips and tricks: you can play canteen music instead of the terrifying Mando music. Also, you guys are probably used to, in order to rotate, if you have shockwaves and bouncers, boxing up and then using bouncer, but that can sometimes take mats if you want to go high. So with this trick, you just place a bouncer and then you put it there and you go. I hope this has been helpful, but yeah, I hope this has been helpful.